Howdy, 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 ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls. Welcome to Hollywood After Dark, nearly midnight movie chat. That's right. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. If I could figure out StreamYard here, we could get ourselves going for another late night call-in sesh. It's Saturday night. Where I live, it's pouring. It's raining. The old man is snoring somewhere, if you remember those old rhymes. And I almost wrecked my car like 4 times tonight delivering food, but I made it home. I made it home so I could have a nearly midnight movie chat with you guys. I could talk with you about Hollywood, what's going on, get your thoughts, get your opinions, and just kind of see where the night takes us. Last night was a lot of fun. Sorry I'm not on camera. I ain't feeling it today. So that's the other part of that too. But don't worry, that's going to be changing as time goes on. I know Lords of the Long Box, such relaxing music. I wanted to find something chill and royalty free, copyright free, DMCA free to play in the intro. I figured if it was more of an upbeat, like Hans Zimmer-esque score from like Wonder Woman 84, where you only hear the Junkie XL bit like twice, then it might be a little bit too much. However, in the meantime, it was just pretty chill. So let me take a quick look here while we wait for some more people to come in, if I could absolutely talk. And let's see here. Garrick asks the hard questions. Better villain. Amazing Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2 or Cheetah in Wonder Woman 84? The answer to that is quite frankly Electro. He had character development. We didn't really get a lot of that with Cheetah. She needed about 20 more minutes and needed to be the main villain. So there's that. Let's see here. Brandon Heaton asks the question, or says here, Happy New Year, 3-Book. When do you think we're going to get a trailer for Bob's Burgers? It's coming out in 3 months, dude. It ain't coming out in 3 months, but yeah, I watch Bob's Burgers pretty much every day. It's what my girlfriend and I watch over dinner with our kids. So we watch a lot of Bob's Burgers. We love Bob's Burgers, and it's a good show. It's a great show. It's an awesome show. I want that movie. Should have been out a year ago. I want that movie. So we'll have to wait and see. Garrick asks the question, is Halloween Resurrection really that bad? Well, Laurie Strode died in it. So yes, but Busta Rhymes was in it. So that does make it a little bit better. Right, there we go. Yeah, if you want to come on and talk about how great Wonder Woman 84 was, which I know is an absolute lie. It's an absolute lie. I'll post a link right here. It's in the video description, but there's a call-in link right there. All right. What do we got here? So Willie Jackson asks the question, what was the whole Wishmaster thing? Well, the whole Wishmaster thing was something that they just thought that would be a good idea. Like, how do we you can tell the whole Wish Stone, it was simply just about trying to find a way to bring back, Steve Trevor. That was all it was. It was a MacGuffin to bring back Steve Trevor. That's all it was. And it ended up being like the worst MacGuffin I've seen in a long time, because it ultimately served zero purpose and had zero consequence. It was dumb. So dumb. But it's a world we live in, unfortunately. Let's see here. Most look forward to MCU show. Probably Falcon Winter Soldier. Zero Hero says, I don't know what that means. I don't speak your snake language, sir. Awesome Calm says Cobra Kai season 3 was lit. I haven't seen season 1 or season 2, so I'm definitely low on that one. Justice League or Wonder Woman 84. You know what? I'm gonna have a hot take. I'm gonna say fucking Justice League 100%. Because Wonder Woman 84, like, Justice League was at least complete enough. You had a beginning, a middle, and an end. You had a complete enough story. It wasn't good, but it's complete enough. This time around, Wonder Woman 84 was not that complete. It wasn't that complete at all. So there's something like that to consider. Anyway, all right. We got our first caller in the back. Eddie, how you doing, man? Long time.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you thought about me after all this time. I'm so glad you have that remembrance.
I see that sexy mug of yours looking back at me, and I'm like, I should be on camera. We should be doing this tip to tip. I'm kidding.
Yeah, it has been a long time.
It's been a while. Yeah. So what's crack-a-lack and what's on your mind tonight?
Well, first and foremost, I have not seen Wonder Woman 84 yet.
That's fine. So you're not missing anything.
But so, like, just in case anyone comes up and blows spoilers, I would have to cover my ears.
Well, I mean, I can't confirm that will happen or not happen. So
No, it's fine. I mean, because I know I respect your opinion. I mean, because look, I haven't seen the movie, so I can't really, I can't really dictate as to
yeah,
whether or not it's really not that good. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews from the critics, but also from people that have seen it, and I'm like, wow, is it really as bad? But again, I still haven't seen it. And the thing is, I don't have HBO Max yet. I have the Roku, and it's on Roku, thank God, but I don't have a subscription yet. The only time that I was able to have access to it was when I used that free 1 week subscription.
okay, and
And
they got rid of that for Wonder Woman 84.
no, yeah, and thank God I was, and I'm glad I knew about that beforehand, because had I not known, like this last minute, I'm be like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to watch something now. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
so but I was but with that 1 week trial, I was actually able to watch a few good movies while I could. I was able to watch. Do you remember Batman Sub-Zero?
No.
It's a made to home video based off the animated series
Okay.
from 1990 the 90s, and it was all about Mr. Freeze.
And it's a movie?
It's a made for video movie. Yeah.
Direct to video, DTV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same voice cast, Kevin Conroy, and the guy who played Mr. Freeze before he passed. I think that actor passed. But
I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, but I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, it's well, I don't know I mean, I know they did a lot of movies back then with the voice cast, because everyone and their mother's like Kevin Conroy. Is my Batman. I remember when The Dark Knight Returns came out in 2012, or 20. Yeah, I think it was 2012 is when that came out, and it was like Peter Weller as Batman, and I was like, whoa.
Peter Weller.
It was Peter Weller as Batman in The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2. And I'm like, why
Oh,
isn't
he voiced them.
he voiced him in the movie. And I'm like, why didn't they use Kevin Conroy? And then you're like, oh, but Peter Weller is like meant to be this old, grizzled, bitter, cynical, nihilistic Batman. And it's like, yeah, I still would have preferred. I mean, he was great in the role, don't get me wrong. He was amazing in the role. But
yeah,
I would have
you
preferred
can't
Conroy.
always yeah, right. But you can't always expect you can't always expect them to get Kevin Conroy for everything. I mean, the guys, who knows if the guy had scheduling conflicts or something, or maybe he just wants a break from Batman. Not that he doesn't love the character, but it's just like,
well, all things considered, that's kind of like his only role. It's like
right.
Mark Hamill could literally voice anything else, but it would just be like, is it the Joker? It would be compared to the Joker. It doesn't matter what else he wants to voice. I mean, there's even an X-Men Wolverine video game that came out, I want to say in like 2009, to tie in with the
Wolverine's. I think it's Wolverine Legends or something like that.
No, it's not.
It's a spin-off of X2 from the X2 movie.
Something like that. But Mark Hamill voiced Wolverine.
Yeah, that's the game. I know the game you're talking about. Yeah,
and it's like, okay, like
Wolverine's Revenge. Wolverine's Revenge. There you go.
Okay,
that's what
okay. So there's that. Yeah, that's. I was like, okay, like it wasn't. I mean, again, it's like, okay, but it's not the Joker or it's not Luke Skywalker. So I mean, people, it's like Anthony Mackie said, like there are no movie stars anymore. There's just like actors that are playing these roles.
Right, but Anthony Mackie. No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was gonna say, like, Anthony Mackie has been getting work in between now.
A lot of direct to video stuff, or well, I should say direct to streaming. He's got a new movie dropping like in 2 weeks, I think. Some like sci-fi. It looks pretty good from the trailer.
I saw that. I'm like, wait a minute, is he going to be a bad guy, good guy, an in between guy?
It looks like an anti-hero type character. But Willie Jackson here says he wasn't in Arkham Origins, referring to Kevin Conroy. Yeah, I remember
that was Roger Craig Smith, the voice of Sonic from the video games,
and he was good. But the thing is, a lot of people hated. A lot of people really hated Arkham Origins. I don't know why. I thought it was actually pretty good.
Even Troy Baker as Joker.
He was good as Joker, but like Troy Baker did a Batman in the Assault on Arkham. He was Batman in Assault on Arkham, the 2014 animated film. So it's like, so he's kind of voiced a bunch of different characters in the franchise, and I'm fine with that because I think he's a good voice actor. But it's like, still, if you're like, it's like, who do you want to play live action Batman? For me, Ben Affleck. Who do you want to voice Batman in cartoon? Kevin Conroy. Like, until the dude is dead, that's what I want. But it's like, if he doesn't want to, or they want to go different directions, there's nothing I can really do about that. But at least for like the Killing Joke, they brought him back. I'm very happy for that.
I actually, to touch on that, I actually was able to watch Killing Joke on Netflix when it was there, and it's not. I didn't think it was as bad as a lot of people made it out to be. I mean,
People attacked that movie for no stupid reason, man. I saw that in theaters when it came out, like
yeah,
the one night thing.
the people like when they were talking about the sex part, and I saw that, and for some reason, as I didn't have a problem with that.
No,
I don't know why. I don't know why, or maybe it's because I see it from a different perspective of lenses. Because I'm a big Batman fan. I can't say I'm like as well versed in hardcore like many of the experts are, but it's like I've read The Killing Joke, and then I watched this, and I look at the whole brief sex scene. I'm like, I didn't have an issue with that. I don't know why people got their panties.
People got mad. I think, not logically or whatever the word is. Maybe they got a little bit too ahead of themselves. They didn't like that the first half of the movie was like a Barbara Gordon story, and they didn't like that. They didn't like what it tied in. But it's like, then again, if you have read The Killing Joke, there's we know what happens to Barbara in that story, which is iconic, and it's very iconic, and it's very, it's canon in many people's mind. And so it's like, so it's like they had to kind of give us a lead in for that. Never mind the whole story with her and the mobster who was obsessing over her was that outside catalyst that got Batman to think about him and the Joker. So like when he goes there and he's like, this is only going to end with one of us killing each other, like that's going to be, I mean, if you think about it for a second, like even the ending of Man of Steel with Zod, that was very much, almost like tying into the end of The Killing Joke, where it's like, the understanding that when you're up against your arch nemesis who will not stop, and no matter what you do, you cannot stop them. The only thing you're able to do is to act on that front, is to take them out. And that is for the greater good. And the thing is, like, for some fucking reason, so many people, like, the nuance of that movie was just lost on like so many people. But I'll tell you this though, and this is actually true. The summer that came out, and I got more people that are coming in the chat, so I'll let you go after this. But the summer that came out, and I've mentioned this before, Batman v Superman on home video, number 1, 5 weeks, right?
Right.
You know what number 2 was for 4 of those weeks? The Killing Joke.
Oh yeah. That's
it was
right.
number 2. It was number 2 for 4 of those weeks. So people were in a very big Batman loving mood the summer of 2016. And and if we talk about all this, ancillary home video purchasing, which is going to help, determine whether we're going to get a sequel for a certain thing. I don't know why the fact that BVS spent so much time at number 1 at the home box office, that in the video sales, that they did not go, wait, there's actually love for the character here and appreciation. Maybe we should look into expanding this. It was a whole weird area for Warner's anyway, especially with DC. But yeah, The Killing Joke was a mature movie. It made Batman think. It made you think. And a lot of people felt uneasy about him banging Barbara. And it's like, I mean,
I surprisingly enjoyed that whole movie.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I liked that she fought a guy that was obsessing over her. Like, cause there's that scene where like the mobster sends the 2 hookers out of his boat. And like one of them's a redhead, and he like throws a pillowcase that he cut to look like a cowl into the water. So you're like, oh shit, son. Like this dude, he fucked that girl. Think like that was all. That's whoa. Like that makes you think, because you're like, this is obsessive.
Yeah.
And
can I say this?
Yeah.
Can I say this real quick before you let me go? You got even though the sex scene was questionable, you gotta at least admit, whoever the animator was that was able to get her whole body down, I was like, for a cartoon, I would kind of smash that.
I mean, I'm not going to sit there and like disagree with you, because I was
it's kind of weird.
I mean, well, these characters are usually drawn very proportionally, and the whole idea there is to be alluring to the eyes. I mean, it's like, plus I'm just, people, Rule 34 exists on the internet, my friend, and everything, if it exists, there's porn of it. And so, yeah, I guarantee you there's been a lot of Batgirl stuff that I've seen over the years. You find it just in the weird corners of especially on Twitter. My God, on Twitter, so much of that stuff's on Twitter. But yeah, no, I get you.
But anyway,
Barbara was hot in the fucking movie, dude.
I mean, dude. I mean, if you even look at the graphic novel, you could see some of her body parts as she's bleeding after Joker shoots her.
So
She's naked, like she's
no,
literally naked.
I know she's literally naked. I know that. Like he took those photos of her naked in order to fuck with Jim. But it's
I mean,
like,
if some
but
grandmas can gush over like Jim Gordon butt naked in that whole carnival thing, then a lot of young guys
oh
could gush over for Barbara as she's shot.
wow. I'm just gonna. I mean, let me ask you a question. Like, do you
Uh,
think Joker fucked the hole?
in Barbara,
Yeah, I think he took it to the further step and went all the way with
I
the bullet hole.
in my what you call it in my fan fiction,
I
yes.
People might get shocked at that because I'm sure the comments later on are going to tear me a new one. I say that to be shocking. I say that to be over the top. So obviously, I'd
Yeah.
be disgusted if somebody were to shoot Barbara Gordon in the stomach and then proceed to have sex with the hole. That would be
Crap.
wrong on so many.
Now I'm gonna have to watch Killing Joke again. Thanks a lot.
I think it's still. Is it on HBO Max now? Oh, you don't have it, so I think it might still be on
But it was
Netflix.
on Netflix last time I saw it.
Yeah. Well, I see. I own the Blu-ray, so I can
Lucky.
go
But
pull
hey,
my. I don't even know where my copy is, but it's here somewhere in the house. But
yeah. But listen, I'm gonna let you go because I know you got other people waiting. But watch Sub Zero when you get a chance on HBO Max. Recommend it. It is so good. It aged very well.
all right, I'll need. Yeah, I want to sit down and watch a lot of those DC animated films because I do like them. So that's
Yeah.
on my
Oh,
list of things to do.
and if you can, I know you probably wouldn't do like older movies, but I would love to see you do a review on Sub Zero because I would love to hear your take on it.
I might just do like super quick ones where it's like I just hold my phone and record and like just not care. But those they don't do any views, unfortunately. They just don't do any views. Like no one like unless it's something new, the likelihood of you getting like a lot of views off of an older movie is pretty low right now. And
Mm.
it's like it's just it's I want to, but it's like there's nothing there, man. It's like fucking sucks. It sucks because what I want to do is I want to do more of like conversations where we talk about the movies, long form conversations, and that's something I'm working on.
I think I
Hopefully
was a
soon.
part of that last time. You and me, and had a couple of other people that one last time during
Yeah.
After Dark, right?
Yeah, we did it. We've done it before. Yeah, I mean, we always kind of mix things up here anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah. Hopefully you get it soon because I would love to be part of it.
All right, man. I'll keep you in mind. Well, I know you're in the Facebook group, so
Yeah.
you'll get the notification. All right, man. Well, thanks
All
a
right,
lot,
man.
Eddie, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, man.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, man. Thank you very much. Bye. All right, thank you very much. And real quick, I want to address one thing that I saw here from Scotty, because I saw this comment pop up, and okay, there we go. He asks, "Why did I make fun of Star Wars Theory for crying?" I did not make fun of Star Wars Theory for crying. I criticized what I felt was a move from a person with over 2 million subscribers on YouTube getting butthurt over 4 words in a tweet from a privated account and turning it into this gigantic mountain of where it didn't need to go. And then when people criticized him, he attacked, he called Eckert's Ladder a bootlicker. He went off on the complete defensive. He sided with the fandom menace. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have sympathy for that. Not one damn bit. I mean, like, there are people out there who have been for years trying to label me a pedophile. I've had 2 musical albums made about me. 2 musical albums made about me. Tons of disgusting fan art. People have attempted to contact Child Protective Services to get my children taken away. People have said the worst things about me imaginable, and I don't say a fucking thing about it. One 4-word tweet sends a gigantic bald man baby into the upper fucking atmosphere, and he has to lose his shit over it simply because he got triggered by 4 words. Cry harder is what I would say to him. I'm not upset that he cried. I cried at Luke Skywalker. It's the response to that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, I just wanted to address that real quick. Tim, what's going on, man?
Maddie, mad. What's going on, man?
Not too much.
How do I follow up? Wanting to fuck a cartoon character? I don't know
Well,
how I follow that up, man.
you can follow it up by I don't know. I mean, is there a cartoon character you'd like to have intercourse with? Which should be the question we ask everybody. I think that would.
Well, Power Girl. Well, comic book. I mean, that's even probably worse because it's not even moving, right?
It isn't.
Curse of the Overfiend, for you old school anime fans. I don't know if you guys know what Curse of the Overfiend is. It's the launch of tentacle porn anime. Have you heard of that, Matt?
No, I don't.
Google Curse of the Overfiend.
Curse of the Okay. Now I'm going to Google this. This is going to be pretty bad.
It
right?
is.
Curse.
It is the. It came out in like the in the 80s, and it kind of launched this whole hentai
Japanese
tentacle porn thing. It's midnight. Is this the first time we've been on
yeah,
YouTube
yeah,
together?
Yeah, it is. I've been
Crazy.
in your
Happy
chats
New Year,
before.
brother.
Hey,
Happy
same
New
to
Year,
you,
brother.
man.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to
yeah.
chit chat with you for a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Let's see. I mean, I'm looking up. Hold on. Is it just Curse of the Overfiend hentai? Or... All right, let me just take. Oh wow, that guy's getting it from like 3 chicks at once. A lot of
in
nudity.
the live chat. It's Euro. Yeah, I can't say that.
I don't.
Right now.
Do I sound like I speak Japanese? No.
Euro to Soko. Oh yeah, but it is like the precursor of all tentacle hentai porn. After it was the first one to come out, and it was like a series of anime. And I remember seeing it in high school, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Okay, give me more.
See, I'm okay. You know what's funny about this? So if this is the first instance of tentacle porn that we've seen, then interestingly enough, then I would argue that the origin of some form of Vine-based tentacle pornography originated in 1981's The Evil Dead.
Live action,
which could have inspired this anime, very similar to how Blade Runner inspired Ghost in the Shell.
But I mean, okay, so this anime is
this is far more graphic.
Okay, so a demon is raping a female, and he busts a nut inside of her and explodes her body. That's the level that we're going at for this Curse of the Overfiend. It is. You need to do a review on it.
All right. Yeah,
you have to.
It's like the person who's notoriously like known for like saying I don't like anime is gonna go and watch.
Watch it just for the sheer audacity of it. That
I'll tell you the weirdest one I've ever seen. As I was at Comic-Con in I think it was 2001, and I came across this booth, and this guy was like showing off this animated movie called Starballs. No, sorry. Is it? Was it Starballs? Or I think it was Starballs. It was this feature length. It was like this feature length animated movie where it was a parody of Star Wars, and it was completely hentai, right? And it was so, but they used like other characters. Like instead of Han Solo was actually played by Goku, and it was the character model of Goku.
No shit.
And then like R2D2 was a trash can, and like C3PO was like, I think trans, and like a male to female or female to male trans or whatever. And then like Darth Maul had nipples on his head instead of spikes. And like the stormtroopers were sperm troopers. So like there's a sex scene where like Leia fucks a stormtrooper. And like the line that they use the line of dialogue from the X-Men movie, like when Rogue asks Wolverine if it hurts when it comes out. And he goes, every time. And then so she asks like the stormtrooper, does it hurt when it comes out? And then it cuts to a shot of his crotch, and it looks like a Lego. And then just like this gigantic pink dick comes out.
I'm trying to think what has more porn parodies, comic book movies or Star Wars?
I'm not too sure. I think, more live action based, probably comic book, but there's been a number of Star Wars ones that I've seen pop up over the years. You see clips, the clips make their way around. And
Slave Leia, come on.
Yeah.
That was all day long. But speaking of which, how about Wonder Woman 84?
How about that movie?
That was fucking fantastic, man.
I think you're lying, sir.
I'm insulted by that, actually. For a movie that takes place in 1984, I really couldn't tell it takes place in 1984.
But didn't you see some of the stores in the background in the mall?
Oh yeah.
There was that bookstore, Walden Books. I saw Walden Books.
Was there a Miller's Outpost? That's a really old school reference for you, where you used to buy your 501s at Miller's Outpost.
Yeah.
I think there was an arcade at one point, and
but all the games in the arcade were all made before made after 1984.
You know what's interesting? Because I know I told you on Twitter, and I was telling a lot of people, I was like, for a movie that was marketed as this big, it's the 80s vibe. there wasn't one single song from the 80s on the soundtrack, which was amazing to me. And then Mikey, our mutual friend Mikey Sutton, pointed out there was an actual Frankie Goes to Hollywood song when she gets out of the car wearing the white dress. And I was like, really? I was like, that's interesting. So I started Googling like songs that came out in 1984 that they could have used in a soundtrack. Van Halen Jump would have been great. There were some other great tracks. I mean, it was like, okay, you know, I hate to compare apples and oranges and Marvel to DC, but you know, Captain Marvel, 90s film, had about at least 12 tracks on there, right? It had Heart, it had Salt and Pepper, it had In Vogue, it had a bunch of this, and
Had
just,
No Doubt,
Just a Girl. I mean, it's like kind of. It's mind-boggling to me. I mean, is it real? Was it about, you know, not paying royalties? They didn't want to pay for the copyright. I don't
know. I mean, I'm wondering because I don't feel like there was anything.
It's a small nitpick, but it would have put people in that nostalgic feeling that, hey, I feel like I'm in the 80s.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I was in the 80s. Like, because there's that scene where they're walking at the reflecting pool at the Washington Monument, and like she just goes, "It's 1984," and so she just says the year. I'm like,
or the scene where they have the B-boys, they're breakdancing, and they're apparently breakdancing to no music because that's what we did back in the day. We didn't breakdance to music at all. That would have been the perfect chance to throw in like a classic hip-hop track just, you know, while the B-boys are getting down.
Something.
It was just it's just frustrating. I mean, you know, it's not an awful film. It's not a great film. It's just right there. It's kind of like middle filler, like Thor: The Dark World was middle filler before Ragnarok kicked our ass, right? I mean, it's just, you know, it's just odd to me. And
it's a weird feeling movie because like
I'm not totally convinced that Patty Jenkins is a good screenwriter.
Well,
maybe
no,
director.
well, because I brought that up today on Twitter. And someone had said, like, I had said, like, you know, I'm a little bit, I said, if Rogue Squadron has got like a shitty, you know, like MacGuffin, like Wonder Woman did, I'm going to lose it, you know? And then someone's like, well, she's directed other movies. I'm like, she's directed 2 other movies. And it's like, well, she's a writer. I'm like, she wrote Monster. I'm like, well, yeah. So I looked up real quick how she wrote Monster. So she had been in communication with Arlene Wuornos before Arlene was executed. And Arlene sent her letters that she had written, right, to give her more of an idea about Arlene as a person. So she had this like amazing, very personal source material to pull from. And she used that to craft a movie that was very good. And so that's great, right? Well, then here she's working with Jeff Johns, as she calls him like the definitive comic book writer. She praises him to high heaven. And they worked on this story together, but they didn't pull from any comic run.
Nope.
Right. They didn't pull from any run. They didn't adapt any novel. They just did this. They did an all original. This isn't a sequel story. And that's like, okay, from the definitive comic guy, that doesn't make any fucking sense. But when
I mean, you know, there's the Zack Snyder cultists, and then there's the Zack Snyder detractors. I mean, you know, but one can say he pulled at least some elements from some comic books, you know, and kind of melded them into where they shouldn't be all together at once, like the Death of Superman and the Dark Knight Returns, right? You know, but
I don't know. I love Batman v Superman, and so like I liked how they handled that. There's because I think, but in that regard, like there are people that it's kind of like I don't like The Last Jedi. I'm not a fan of The Last Jedi. And I have a friend of mine who like really, really, really likes it. And I told him, and we need to sit down. And I told him, we got to talk about this movie. I'm like, because I want you to red pill me on it. You know, I want you to explain it to me from your perspective to help me better understand it. Because if I'm missing something upon all the times I've seen the movie and I still find myself disliking it, do you hold the key that will then allow me to see it through a lens that is not just filled with anger and bitterness, you know? And the reason I say this, another guy I know hated The Force Awakens when it came out, but his review of The Force Awakens, he went into the prequel trilogy and he explained how Lucas was approaching politics. And I didn't know about that at the time. And I went back and I rewatched it with that in mind right after The Force Awakens came out. And I found myself really loving Attack of the Clones because I viewed it from a different perspective that I'd never thought about before.
Well, if you know Zack Snyder's politics, man, it still makes more sense as well.
It does.
Because he's obviously, he was going to make an Ayn Rand biopic. And if you know anything about that philosophy, it's kind of like, and that's the whole premise of Clark Kent's father was, hey, don't do this. It's none of your business. Stay away from it. That's, kind of in a nutshell. And I don't want to get too deep into the weeds about Ayn Rand and all that stuff, but knowing, his politics you kind of see where that is, and Watchmen, is also something probably Ayn Randish, so it's kind of interesting, and Justice League but the one thing I will say about Zack Snyder is he got Wonder Woman, I want to say right, but more accurate or correctly than Patty Jenkins does. In the comic books, Wonder Woman is a warrior, right? No apologies. You've seen even the animated movie. She's fucking badass. She's killing people. No apologies.
Like, isn't one of them rated R?
Yeah, she's not this love-lorn, love lost thing. And Patty Jenkins, I understand what they're trying to do, but Zack Snyder in BVS made her just like, all right, oh, you just hit me. I'm gonna smile about that, and I'm gonna go back and fuck you up. But then all of a sudden, it's all this thing about hope and love and this and that and the other. It's like, all right, so Wonder Woman 3, they're gonna bring back Steve Trevor to get killed again. Oops, spoiler alert.
Are they? Well, I think they're gonna bring him back. Like, I don't see them not having him around. Like, but I think after Wonder Woman 84, they may not be able to, because their explanation was okay. Like, let me ask you this: when it comes to the whole body swap thing, right? Like that backlash, that controversy about whether or not Wonder Woman raped that guy. Okay.
Well, rape me then, shit.
Well, see, yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people that are like, well, I would have complained if Gal Gadot climbed on me. I wasn't in my body.
Finish your point. Yeah, finish your point. And I do have a thought on that.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah. All right. But at the same time, if the roles were reversed, there would be outrage, right? And in this moment, like, no one's saying anything. So someone actually like went to Patty Jenkins on Twitter and brought that up. And they explained it as just more like that guy wasn't there, like it wasn't him, it was Steve. And then she's like, yeah, exactly. And I'm like, that's like, oh, come on, that's such a
So when that scene first happened, her believability of his story happened way too quickly, right? Just because he said a few sentences, she believed him. Unless she has some, telepathic abilities we don't know about.
Well,
here's the thing she should have done, all right? Here's the thing she should have done, all right? Which would have made more sense in the story, because it took, 60 seconds where she started sucking on his face, right? I mean,
something like that. But I'll tell you this, though. I've seen that happen in real life. Like, I was at Mardi Gras with my friends back in 09 or 08.
Oh, my God.
I'm not kidding you. We're at Mardi Gras in San Diego. And my two friends were like, they're good looking guys. I'm not, but they were. And this girl walks up and she's got like a pink wig and a pink tutu on. She walks right up to my friend Josh and she just goes, "I'm going to suck your dick tonight." Literally just like that, walked up out of the blue. She had a friend. The five of us went back to back to the apartment. I was too drunk to drive. I went out to my car while they did their thing. So like, I've seen it happen.
Yeah, but see, that's like comparing apples to dildos, right?
Well, but it's but I'm saying if you are lovelorn, in this particular situation, and the guy,
Mardi Gras, that was not lovelorn.
Well, no, I'm sure there was lots of booze. There was lots of booze involved in that one. Yeah.
Here's the plot device they could have used that would have made it a lot more sense. All she had to do was pull out her magic lasso, wrap it around him, and then find out the truth. But she just took his word for it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it seems like a small thing, but it seems to be lazy screenwriting as well for me. You know what I mean? Like I know both of us have talked about the jet at the Smithsonian, all fueled up, ready to go, and apparently a pilot who last flew a World War I plane can immediately, without any learning curve or barely any learning curve, can fly a jet fighter from I'm assuming it's from 1984, maybe a little bit older since it's at the Smithsonian.
Maybe Nam, right? Maybe Nam or something.
But even then, it's a jet fighter. This last plane this guy was flying had fucking propellers on it, and I think people had to go outside and spin it around for him. So I mean, it was like little things like that. It's like, man, it's like, I don't know. That seems to be a little bit lazy screenwriting, but obviously, I mean, Wonder Woman 1 was better than Wonder Woman 84. I will say.
Well,
this.
I haven't heard anyone really make the claim that it wasn't.
Yeah.
I've heard
And
people jump through every hoop imaginable under the sun to try to defend 84. And it's like, I can handle everything in the movie. Well, the only thing I can't handle is Maxwell Lord at the end. Like, how did he get away with it? How was there no consequences?
So
right?
wait, another thing about I was trying to get this logic too, because obviously wishes are real, so we have to be able to logically explain how wishes work. So he asked everybody to make a wish, and then Diana Prince asked everybody to retract their wishes. And by the way, nobody saw her face, I don't believe, because I think the golden lasso made the screen yellow, so nobody actually saw who she was. Because I seen some people saying, "Oh, how she broadcasted? How come nobody knows what Wonder Woman looks like?" But if you watch it again, the screen was bright yellow because of the golden lasso. Made the reflection on the camera. So,
movie logic.
Yeah. So
but then again, but then they also destroy the cameras because there was like one camera, and like that camera gets destroyed.
Yeah. So when she pulls it with the lasso. But then, so Maxwell Lord says, "I retract my wish," right? And his wish was to become the wish master.
The genie. Yeah.
But wouldn't that already retract everybody else's wishes? That whole scene of everybody sitting there saying, "I retract my," was that just to get people emotional or something? Because I'm just saying, if you retract your wishes as being a wish master, don't all the wishes you granted go away?
Well, that's what I was thinking too. That's what I was thinking as well. So in that regard, like that, and that's kind of what they said too, right? You either have to destroy it or get, people have to rescind their wish. They kind of destroyed it, which is why I'm thinking that that's the way that it kind of went. But the weird thing though is what got me is like, yeah, everyone rescinded their wish, which is, crap and not whatever happened. Did the woman who was told to drop dead, did she miraculously come back to life, or did she end up in another handsome guy's body too? These are questions that I have.
Yeah, it's that last scene too where she sees the dude. She kind of gave that. I would tell this, man. I mean, Gal Gadot is stunning. I mean, when she smiles, you just can't help it. Like, And then she looks at that dude, and I'm like, she's about to take this dude.
That's what I thought. And I here's the thing. Here's the thing. I would have been entirely okay with that if she was like, "What's your name? Do you want to get some coffee?" Because she already knows him, and she's already pseudo comfortable with his energy, at least, right? Because
wait, didn't she pick out the outfit at that last?
Outfit, that was the thing.
And he didn't question like where the fuck these clothes came from.
Yeah, he didn't question like why his apartment was clean, because that was a line in the movie too. Like one of the first things that Steve Trevor says is, "Oh yeah, I spent the morning cleaning this guy's apartment." Wait, why? Like why? And then it's like,
it's a comic movie, suspension of belief or disbelief, however way you look at it. And, but sometimes, for what Endgame does with all the time travel and stuff, it at least tries to make some type of a scientific, belief in it, you know what I mean? As opposed to powers of wishing, which are always going to get you into trouble when you do something like that. And it's just, to me, it was marketed as this grand epic film, but it seemed rather small and contained to me. Really, there was the scene in Egypt, and then there was just a lot of people strewing trash around Washington D.C. and
the whole thing in Egypt didn't even need to happen.
That made no sense either. It was, I guess, her just to save those two kids who apparently have no vision or sight and knows that there's a bunch of trucks running, speeding at them, and they continue to play in the middle of the street. So she can
never mind all the gunfire before then, because that guy was unloading the 50 cal at the truck. So there's,
but like our boy Sil, man, our boy Sil is a DC loyalist, and we give him a hard time about it.
He got so mad at me for calling him that.
But it's like they set the bar so low for DC films for them to be good, but for the Marvel films they set the bar so high, and they're like, well, this and that happened. Ant-Man and the Wasp wasn't needed. Well, if you saw Endgame, Ant-Man and the Wasp kind of really was important because it introduced the quantum realm. So you may think it's a throwaway movie, but it did what it did. So I mean, it's just it would have been curious to see if Wonder Woman 84 came out in the theaters and how it would have done in the box office after word of mouth has spread.
I think it would have been a Batman v Superman situation, to be honest with you.
About 600 million.
It would have no. Well, I think it would have had it would not have. I don't think it would have outperformed the original. I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening at all. But what I think is it would have had a very strong opening, despite word of mouth, like from people like right away. Because there's like it's one of those things where it's like it's confusing because you're like I didn't hate it, but it's not great, And then from there, people would have thought more about it when they start thinking about the logistics of the movie, and then I think they would have told people, because if I've been reading on Twitter, there's a lot of DC loyalists that are just sucking this movie's dick constantly, and then I go and I read like Facebook on HBO Max's official posts about Wonder Woman 84, and there's like 3,200 comments, and like the vast majority of them are, this movie sucked. Yeah. And I'm like, that is the general consensus that I'm seeing from people. That is not like on Reddit they were shredding it to hell.
The Twitter people are more organized than the whole Zack Snyder cult. Excuse me,
I don't. You can't really call it a cult. You can't call it a cult, man. I don't think that's fair, because a lot of those guys do a lot of good work.
I mean, but I don't refer to somebody I don't know by their first name constantly. Like I don't say Kevin when I'm referring to Kevin Feige,
okay,
but they're like saying, Zach is going to do this, Zach is going to do that.
Yeah, like, no, I know. There's that is one of my complaints, to be honest with you. Like,
so you've seen Fanboys, right?
Yeah.
The great Star Wars film. So at the end of the movie, Linus finally gets, they finally get to see the movie, and what does Linus say?
Yeah, what if it sucks?
Exactly. That's what I've kept on been saying to the
last line of the movie.
Like, okay, what if the Snyder Cut sucks?
And I'll tell you this.
And you fought, and it still sucks. Are you going to be looking for the other cut? I even saw people saying there's a Wonder Woman 84 cut out there because Jenkins didn't get to see her thing. And people are saying the studio made it long. No, Patty Jenkins made it long. She's the one that wanted that opening Cirque du Soleil scene. She vetoed the studio. She said, nope, I want the scene in there. I need to see the Cirque du Soleil Olympics, whatever thing that was going on at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was for them to say that the studio wanted it longer, that's going back to the first movie where we had the, electrifying whatever CGI. I mean, that's the one thing that the DC films does is they really amp up like the CGI. Like at the end of Batman vs Superman, the scene with Doomsday is just like just lights and lightning and everything all over the place. And then at the end of Wonder Woman, with her fight with was that Ares? Was it Ares? God of War, right? Just tons.
And that was
of
all
light.
CG. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, and they just overdo it.
Well, that was a reshoot. That was all a reshoot. That was all what they went. I mean, or maybe that was like they scrapped it in pre-production or something. But yeah, like I always felt because the ending of that movie always catches a lot of crap. And I didn't think it was that grand. When you think about Wonder Woman from 2017, you think of the No Man's Land scene. Yeah. And you think of that because that scene is definitive. And there are people that I saw going like, oh, I loved that this one had its own No Man's Land scene. And I'm all like, where did that happen?
Well, like, I've compared the two Wonder Woman films to two Marvel films. And tonally I've compared them. So
what are you saying? Like what? Captain America, the first Avenger
and Captain Marvel, right? Takes place in the 90s, and one place takes place in World War II. Yeah. Tonally the same. I mean, it's kind of like she said, I'm going to do this. And people are like, no. I was like, no, really. I mean, Captain America, shows up, it's at the, as opposed to it showing Diana Prince in present day and then flashing back. Captain America takes place in World War II and then flashes to the future, whereas, and then the same to Captain Marvel just takes place in the 90s. And I think it's 1994 to be exact. So it's exactly like 10 years later, you had Blockbuster videos, you had everything. So it's almost like it seems those tonally,
I think more like 95 because they had a True Lies standee at Blockbuster. Yes, I remember and that dropped in 94.
Yeah, I remember people were like dissecting this film takes place
because she blew off Schwarzenegger's head. What does that mean? Nothing. The movie's just not good. I mean that's the thing is like both Wonder Woman 84 and Captain Marvel are just wildly inconsequential films. There is nothing that was really at stake ultimately. I mean Max Lord definitely better than
Well,
Jude Law, but
here's the thing about Captain Marvel, though, and the same thing you could say about when you saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, and you say it's nothing, but later on you find out, hey, the quantum realm played an important role, just like I think the Skrulls will eventually, because they already have announced Secret Invasion. So I think so there is the potential there. I'm not saying that it is, but there will be some things that you can go back to Captain Marvel, especially at the end when Nick Fury wakes up on this spaceship, which could be Sword or part of the Skrulls. It lays another little footprint for the Secret Invasion movie, their film they're doing. But like you said, Wonder Woman 84 really doesn't move anything forward unless maybe Cheetah does something. I don't, Cheetah was a bit weird.
Well, okay, so on that, I'd read something online, and again, I haven't been following everything Patty Jenkins has been saying these last couple of days, so I don't know how true this is. But someone said like Cheetah's gonna kind of have a round 2 in the next movie, but then you're hearing like this next one is gonna take place after the Snyder Cut, so it's gonna take place in like the current times, and I'm like, well, all things considered, Barbara did not rescind her wish. Now, she lost being a cheetah, which is what Maxwell granted her.
Yeah, why did she get 2 wishes?
So, because Maxwell granted it to her. Like
I thought the rule was you can only get 1 wish.
Well, he says I'm feeling generous today, so we don't know. We don't know if he went to like the pilot and was all like, "What do you wish for?" and then gave her the power. Or they didn't explain that. He's the wish master, so he can, I guess, bend the rules however he wants. But at the end, we see her, and she was no longer a cheetah. And of course, we never got any real indication as to why she was a cheetah, outside of a shot of a pair of shoes.
Well, I think Mikey Sutton's, our friend Mikey Sutton's scoop on New Year's Day was that Wonder Woman 83 was going to be the world's finest comics. Basically, it's going to be Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman in Wonder Woman 3. So basically the trinity of DC Comics. That's what Mikey's scoop was, what he had heard. And I think that would do big if you could get...
if you could bring in everybody and bring him back, because that's honestly what fans, I think, at this point want, is they want to see that. They want to see the DC universe connected. They don't want to see it splintered. This is why when I talk about the multiverse, I'm like, no one is asking for this. No one is asking for any of this. You're not going to go look at the forums for the fans of the fucking Arrowverse and watch them like completely, fucking gush over like bringing it everything together. Yeah, they had the Ezra thing, which was, I guess, cool, but it's like no one is really asking for more of this.
Hamada said when him and Jim Lee were speaking at DC Fandom. And he even said that, we don't really have a multiverse like the MCU. But he said, I think he alluded to the fact something like on HBO Max is where all these characters can meet. Basically saying like some of the big screen actors will meet on some of these things that we can do on HBO Max. Like, the HBO Green Lantern show, the Justice League Dark show that's going to happen. So, I mean, I have more... faith in what they're going to do on HBO Max than I have on what's going to do on the big screen. It depends. I'm kind of interested now to see if the Flash film is going to be a reboot or a New 52 type reboot, as DC Rebirth, whatever the hell the DC calls their reboots, to where they're doing it. They're about to do another one, Future State, to see if they do that. I've already compared it to, this is going to be DC's Into the Multiverse of Madness, right? Because we're going to talk about different multiverses, different things. And I think the Flash film could be very important. It could be if the DC or AT&T execs decide, say, hey, let's make this Flash film and let's start as that is the starting line from going on here on out. Just like in the comics, just like in Crisis of Infinite Earths, where it just kind of reset everything because all their stories just got kind of all over the place, had way too many Earths. I mean, let's get rid of Earth 1 or 2. But then you think about the Black Adam film that's coming out, Justice Society takes place if in a different Earth as well. If you think in the comics, it does. The Justice Society does, and Black Adam does. So so potentially you could have a third kind of different. Because I remember Hamada was saying, we on the big screen we're going to tell these stories that are director driven, meaning, hey, you don't have to listen to the main heads of the studio to make them all combined. But on HBO Max, we have more control of what we want to do. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. I mean, I think the AT&T execs or the Warner Brothers execs were really expecting that Wonder Woman 84 was going to knock it out of the park with critics. I think they were, I think they thought critics were going to gush over it. And as more and more people saw, well, here's the thing. It's not even just critics, because if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, it's like 60 something critics and right now like 74% users. Now, obviously it's not a perfect science because there's a lot of shill accounts, but I think Rotten Tomatoes has gotten a little bit better where you actually have to show.
Well, they've got, let me see here. So I'm looking at it right now. So it's dropped. It was at 69%. Now it's down to 60%.
That's not even certified fresh anymore.
It was never certified fresh from what I could see.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling at some point in time, if it drops under 60, it's going to end up going rotten.
Yeah.
And they don't want that. And the funny thing is, like, for a while, Warner Brothers had, they had money in Fandango or in Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
So I have no idea if there's going to be a little bit of favoritism there or something along those lines. But the verified audience score is 74% with 2,296 people. But just looking at like all audience, like there's a lot of, it's more of a mixture now.
Okay. When a movie, if people have been around Tomatoes, when a movie is really good and the audience score is normally in the 90s. So when it gets 74, 75%, and then, the apologists will say, oh, it's shill accounts going. And, because they did that famously with the Star Wars films, right? They were just bombarding it with the bad reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. And that's what really caused Rotten Tomatoes to kind of change the way they were scoring the audience scores on these films. So, I mean, that was interesting because that was what led to it. So, I mean, now it's a bit more accurate because I remember one time I was going to post something on the internet. You had to show proof that you saw the film or something like that. But
on Rotten Tomatoes, because they're owned by Fandango, that's how they've decided to try to verify everything. So if you buy a ticket through Fandango, then it's counted as being verified. They did this with Captain Marvel almost 2 years ago, was when they started this program, and they were supposed to expand it. Now I don't know if they've expanded it to like Regal, AMC, Cinemark, whatever. Their internal services to kind of confirm whether or not you actually bought a ticket. I don't think they have, because I haven't read anything.
Well, when I am an AMC Stubs member, and I remember I actually to leave a review, you had to have bought the ticket using the AMC Stubs app. I do remember that, but I don't remember how it ties into any other thing like Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't know
anything like that. But I mean, either way, I mean, I think still disagree with me, but I said, look, if the Snyder Cut comes out and does good numbers streaming, but is critically panned, they will be gun shy about putting Justice League sequel on the big screen. I don't think it's about critics anymore. I think Warner Brothers is really sensitive about what critics think. That's what I think.
See, the thing, I mean, I get that, but it's at the same time, like, when Jason Kilar or Toby Emmerich was talking about the streaming numbers for Wonder Woman, it wasn't about like what critics said. It's about like what people got, the people who watched
that's
it.
What
like
he said. Yeah,
the 6 million. I mean, I know critically speaking, like there's certain aspects of it, but after the whole Joker fiasco and that blew up in critics' faces, they probably don't care as much. Because, I mean, look, the reality of the situation is this. Critics ultimately have no power, right? The professional critics, they have no fucking power. They might be referenced, but they have no real power. And I say this because I can cite you 2 instances where they tried to use their power for good and it failed on both fronts. Dread 2012. Journalists came out through all the movie websites the Monday after the movie came out and it had not done well. And they were begging their audience to go see the movie. That didn't happen. And then about a year later with Pacific Rim, they tried it yet again to come out with this massive push to go see this movie. And it didn't really move the needle. And, and I don't know if they've done any studies about how much those reviews influence ticket sales, but I remember that the Electronic Software Agency did a study a number of years ago about how influential video game reviews were versus live streamers or people on YouTube talking about it. Influencers is what they called it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the thing is, the websites, the reviews accounted for like 3% of total sales. Influencers, 13% of total sales.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is, the correlation between reviews and sales, I don't think is what WB cares about. Is saying we made a film that was successful with our viewers and the critics loved it, because BVS, Justice League didn't do well with the reviews. Aquaman kind of did better. Wonder Woman 1 did better. This one went back. So, when they announced that they were releasing an entire slate of 2021 on HBO Max, what did all the directors come out and say? You know what? WB has always been a creator-friendly studio. And that tells me that they care about what critics think. When it's a creator-friendly studio, they want the director's vision and what the producer wants and all the actors. And that's what they were saying. We won't get into that whole 2021 release either, because that's been beaten down with a dead horse. But
well, I mean, look at Shazam. Shazam had a 90% critical rating and 82% audience rating, certified fresh. And that movie only pulled in, like, I think less than 200 worldwide.
Yeah, well, it's Shazam. It's not a major actor. Not many people know him. You know what I mean? I mean, this is Wonder Woman. This is the big trinity of DC. What's interesting though is of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and I'm gonna go into the weeds of my comic book background and channel, but only Batman books sell, regardless of what movies are coming out. That doesn't push the needle of Wonder Woman sales, and Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman comic book sales are rarely ever in the top 20, top 25. Batman is always up there in the top 10 So on the DC side, it's always Batman. On the Marvel side, it's always like Spider-Man, X-Men, Wolverine. Those books always are the top sellers. But a Wonder Woman movie comes out, what do? They don't release a new Wonder Woman comic. Right? I mean, it's ridiculous. And Superman, they try to reinvent him. It's just not a character that people, there's old school people that love Superman, but we always talk about on our show, like when something gets announced, that character's first appearance in the comic books gets a bump, right?
Yeah.
But, and I think the modern era version of Cheetah got a slight bump when it was announced that she was going to be in the film. And that was, and Maxwell Lord a little bit, but people, typically they spec on recently, Gore the God Butcher was announced at the Disney investor call. That book went through the roof, right?
Yeah.
And all the Star Wars news they dropped, 2020, I saw a resurgence on people buying first appearances of characters from Star Wars, and it's going to lead to the next segue because I'm running the show now. Apparently, yeah. I mean, I've got people back there, but you're dropping some knowledge that lot of I don't even know. I don't follow comics, so I literally have no fucking idea. They talked about Rogue Squadron. There's a Rogue Squadron comic book that went up by like 70, 80, 90% in value.
Wow.
A lot of these comic books that in the past people really didn't really buy comic books from when Star Wars movies came out. They were like, the comics are there, like the original the original Marvel run from 1977, right? That's always been the go-to. But those books have been kind of stagnant. They just stayed at their same value. But with the Mandalorian stuff and all the shows that they announced coming out, and there's a new series coming out called The High Republic, and I think that one show that's based on the last days of the High Republic, I forget what it's called,
Acolyte.
The Acolyte. That book has already been sold out and hasn't come out yet because everybody's already been pre-ordering it and selling their shops, and so they're going to second and third printings before it even hit the shelves yet. That's Star Wars comics are going crazy right now. It's kind of like the Mandalorian kind of breathed new life. And guess what? There's supposed to be a Mandalorian comic comes out. So, Matt, how do you suggest to you as your comic tip investor?
Start buying some Mando comics? Yeah.
The first appearance of the Mandalorian, and even better yet, buy the first appearance of Grogu. It'll probably be in the first issue. That book is going to go through the roof.
Most likely, yeah. I've thought about getting into reviewing Star Wars comics because I've been reading a few of them on the side, and I really enjoy them, actually.
It is a deep rabbit hole. I mean, if you go,
oh, yeah.
It's because tons of them. There's tons tons of them. Because
Well, I'm talking like current stuff because it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
going back into the old school, like when Marvel was publishing it. Well, they're doing
Well, I
it
mean,
now.
not the Marvel
but-
stuff, because after Marvel started publishing, Dark Horse went all to the extended universe stuff, and it's just amazing.
Yeah.
All the Old Republic stuff. I mean, there's some great stuff in there. But what leads to my next segment, to my guest Matt Jarbo here, is I was watching. I was thinking about the season finale of Mandalorian. Or actually just the Mandalorian in general. And I was watching Empire, and the scene on Dagobah when Obi-Wan or Luke takes off, I have to save my friends, and Obi-Wan turns to Yoda and he says, "That was our only chance, but he's leaving. We should have trained him." Then Yoda says, "No, there's one other." And forever we just assumed they were talking about Leia. But what if they were talking about maybe Ahsoka, Ezra Bridger, maybe Grogu?
Yeah.
I mean, as one of the other ones? Because, we never thought about that, because we always assumed it was Leia. But then in the film that you hate, where they show the scene with Leia fighting Luke, right? When Leia
No, I
was
liked Rise of Skywalker. I didn't love it like after my fourth viewing.
Yeah.
I liked it well enough.
So as she was fighting Luke Skywalker, right? Luke was
Yeah.
training her to be a Jedi with her lightsaber. By the way, her lightsaber is the same color as Ahsoka Tano's lightsaber, which is interesting.
I thought she had a green one. I didn't know she.
No, Luke had the green one. She has. It looks like a white one.
I gotta watch it again. I thought she had. I thought they both had green. I was trying to figure out.
Luke had a green one. You rarely ever see lightsaber battles where they both have the same color lightsaber.
Yeah.
In the Star Wars film. So, and then in that moment, she senses that in the future, if she has a kid or something bad's going to happen. It's referring to Kylo Ren, turning dark to the dark side. So I'm going to go into politics, right? That's the metaphor of 2020, right? You know what? That's too dangerous. I'm going into politics. That's much more safer.
Feels like that sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah. But, I thought that, I was like, what if, because Dave Filoni has done the incredible task of dipping his toes into what Disney considers canon and legends. Officially, it's called legends on the Wikipedia website, or the Star Wars website, right? Anything that's not done. So basically, when Disney bought Lucasfilm, they said, all right, anything going here on out is considered canon and our films, but everything before that in the books and the comic books and video games is not considered canon. Well, Dave Filoni came around and said, well, you know what? I'm taking a little bit of this, I'm taking a little bit of that, and he's blurred the line between legends and canon, and I could totally see him going back saying, hey, maybe that scene in Empire Strikes Back, we can do this and say maybe this is stuck, because there's still a story to be told there about Ahsoka Tano going out and finding Ezra Bridger. I think Ezra Bridger could be
But isn't that really going to be the show? I mean, that's going to have to tie into the show because she dropped the name Thrawn.
Yeah.
So I mean, but then again, they played ambiguous with it. They said Filoni said it could take place like the epilogue of Rebels could take place after that. Like,
yeah,
we don't know.
What Mikey told me was, because I asked him specifically, and he said it's actually two separate shows. There's going to be an Ahsoka show, and there's going to be a live action continuation of the Rebels show to finish up that storyline.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, Enosh, one of my good friends here, who's a big Star Wars nut, sent me a screenshot. It was Leia had a blue saber.
Blue one, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't think it was like, was it green? Was it blue?
It wasn't really like
blue. I don't remember being
yeah.
white. I think if it was white, I would have been like, wait a minute. Yeah. But I get what you're trying to
one
say.
more subject before we leave. Matt, what do you think about Cobra Kai?
I've not seen it yet.
All right, bye.
Okay. No, I've seen one episode. I've seen one episode. I saw the first episode.
First
of it. I
season
liked
was
it.
Okay. Season 2 was great.
Okay. I hear season 3 is really good.
Yeah, it's, you know what, I love martial arts, and don't tune in for the martial arts because it's the same level of martial arts as Karate Kid, the movies. But man, it takes you on different journeys, man. You think one guy's a good person, then the next guy is a bad person, and they flip roles, and it's just really good writing and character development for a fucking YouTube original. That's the amazing.
Yeah, the only one that did anything on when it was on YouTube Originals.
Yeah.
Other than that, nothing else did well. Like,
Yeah.
it just I was surprised at like how badly they fucked that whole thing up, at how badly the whole thing turned out. But
Kind of like your Quibi, right? I remember you're a big fan. Of
I
Quibi.
was, yeah. And you know what? You know what, man? Like, fuck that. I stand by Quibi. I do, and not because they experimented with the technology, which I'm a techie guy. So like the fact that they were able to do the technology to where you could hold it vertical or landscape, and you know, like, and it would work functionally. It would work. Like the phone would figure out which position you're in. And if you're, you know, it would format itself, and you'd still be able to see stuff. Like I'd take a shit and I would like pop on an episode of something, just holding it in my hand, and then I'm like, okay, and I can still see what's going on. But the problem with Quibi, ultimately, was that when it launched, they launched it during a pandemic when no one was commuting to work, and that was the whole point. And the price point was good. The 90 days free was good. That the shows were pretty funny. Dummy was really good. The Anna Kendrick one.
They had a lot of talent behind it.
A lot of talent, man.
A lot
yeah,
of actors. Yeah,
even
man.
the Sam Raimi's 50 Shades of Fright, or you know, whatever the hell that was, like that little anthology show. They had a whole bunch of true crime stuff on there. They had like Polygon had a fucking gaming show. I never watched because fuck Polygon. But like they had a whole bunch of content on there, and I kept saying this over and over and over again. I'm like, why in the hell are you not going to influencers and getting this in the hand of people who like talk about movies and talk about TV shows, and like going, hey, would you like to interview some people? Like put the work in to get these people to check out your product, because they're the ones that are going to sell it to their audience. They're the ones that are going to have to get involved. Because like there was that show, Flipped or whatever it was. It was Caitlin Olsen and Will Forte. And they're a married couple that want to do home decoration, right? Home renovation. They watch like TLC. And so they end up like both getting fired from their jobs on the same day. And they say, screw it. We're just going to we're going to go do our own show. We're going to shoot it on an iPhone. So they pool all their money and they buy this shitty rundown house in out by Palm Springs, and they renovate it themselves. And in the process of renovating it, they discover like $500,000 or $250,000, something like that, in the wall, because it's a drug stash house.
Nice.
And so then they finish the decoration, and the cartel guy shows up, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna die." And he's like, "Wait, what happened to this house?" And they're like, "Oh, we renovated it." And he's like, "I fucking love it." And so then he kidnaps them and he takes them to Mexico to become his decorators. And then he ends up trading them to like the El Jefe, played by Andy Garcia, who wants to be a musician, and he's terrible at it. But Will Forte and him become friends. And the whole time they're still trying to like figure out a way to get free to go and become, you know, they end up winning the competition. So they're actually end up being brought in to like go and have their own new show with TLC or whatever the fuck the outlet was. So, and like Jerry O'Connell and Rebecca Romaine actually pop up as like the two big stars on the Home Improvement channel. So like the thing is, the show was fucking funny. It was really funny.
You know what I think really would have helped something like this launch in 2020? The absence of San Diego Comic-Con really probably hurt a lot of projects that, you know, because that is the big news year for all entertainment, not just, you know, geeky comic booky stuff. But imagine Quibi coming to San Diego Comic-Con, showing this stuff, word of mouth spreading, and, you know, it would have done great. I mean, you know, they still had great word of mouth through social media, but but showing more clips, having the actors come on stage, talk about the projects, you know, building, you know, and imagine if they could have done a Quibi Hall H presentation. It would have only been 7 minutes, but you know, it would have been 7 minutes. I've
seen shorter presentations than Hall H, to be honest with you. You know, I'll tell you this, and we should probably move on. But one year, I forget, it was Warner Brothers. They were doing a panel like this because Warner Brothers like stacks their panel. They book out like 3 hours, and they had one where it was Will Ferrell and it was Zach Galifianakis, and they were in that movie, like The Campaign or whatever the hell it was called.
I love that film.
And that
film. It's so funny.
Well, there was a bit where like they were on stage and they were doing Q&A, but the staff in Hall H had cleared the Q&A line. And so the camera, like when Zach Galifianakis and Will Ferrell were there, the camera cut back over to the Q&A line and it was empty. And so everyone's like, is this a joke? Is this a bit? And then some random guy runs up and he's like some failed stand-up comic. And he starts trying to do a set with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis. And the thing is, it was entirely real. This guy was not like some plant, because sometimes they plant people for gag. This guy was entirely legit. Like, he ran up there and like had 6,500 people watching him.
So it was Mark Ellis from Collider trying to do stand-up.
Yeah, it was. Well, probably better than that, because I don't think Mark Ellis is funny.
No, he's not.
But it's like, so you get some weird moments out of Hall H, which is why, like when the guy got stabbed in the eye, I was there when that happened.
One more thing before I leave.
All right.
You need to watch this film on Netflix. It's a Spanish film, like from Spain. It's called Unknown Origins. Fantastic film. It's a comic book film, but not based on a comic book. It's basically Batman meets Seven. That's all I want to tell you.
It's a Spanish film?
It's a Spanish film made from Spain. The director, David Galindo, is the director, a huge comic book nerd. And basically, it's a detective. There's a murderer out there who is killing people based off of things that are in comic books and real comic books. They don't use fake comic books. Like, they say, hey, this happened in Hulk #1. This happened in Detective Comics. And so he has his geek along with them, and they go and they find these gruesome murder scenes like out of Seven. So that's why I'm saying it's like Seven meets Batman. You can it's both dubbed. You can watch it in the Spanish language, or you can watch the dub version. Isn't so bad, but I will say, if you don't know Spanish, they speak Castilian, which is Spanish is spoken in Spain, so it's really fast. So you have to keep up with the subtitles, but definitely worth watching, and you should.
And that's my other complaint with Netflix. Same thing with Quibi. Netflix has so much original content that they put out, but they do no marketing for any of it.
Yeah,
and I mean, and like I know they have their top 10 thing right now, but I'll look at the top 10 and maybe I'll review one of the top 10 movies. I did Hubie Halloween. When that came out, Hubie Halloween spent days at #1 on Netflix, and it's not that good of a movie. It's a fun movie. I love Adam Sandler.
What was trending that one time? The Ryan Felipe movie?
Which one?
There was a Ryan Felipe movie where he plays a Secret Service agent. It was fucking awful. Just awful.
I think even something like Paul Blart has trended at one point in time or another,
No.
like certain, I have a feeling like they dropped those movies in the list. I really do. I have a feeling that they dropped those shitty movies in the list.
A little payola from,
a little like, yo, you want to see this movie do well, because then you get all these people writing about it, and it might trend on Twitter. Like you're like, why is this shitty movie trending? Like, oh, because it's trending on Netflix. It's like, so wait, that transfers into social media engagement, but like going and then like watching it and talking about it on YouTube, it does nothing. Like there's no transfer in any real capacity. It's the weirdest thing. How could there be 196 million customers worldwide, and yet outside of a bare minimum of content coverage like Cobra Kai, Witcher, Stranger Things, things like that, you don't see anything pop up?
Well, there's I didn't know. I mean, every time they say Netflix original, I'm like, I didn't know that. I mean, where did this come from? Obviously they push their what they think are the bigger, more popular shows and movies, and obviously when that Ryan Reynolds film dropped, whatever. I thought there was
Six Underground.
I enjoyed that film actually.
Michael
Bay
not.
Excess to its best. You know what I mean?
It was, but here's my complaint with Six Underground, and maybe I think it was very similar to Zombieland, because it's the same writers, in regards to Zombieland was originally pitched as a TV show, and they just condensed it into a movie. And then I think Six Underground was also a TV show that they just condensed into a movie that they were hoping was going to do big enough on Netflix in order to warrant sequels.
Yeah.
Because think about all the time in that movie they spent establishing characters. And it wasn't like in the moment, it was like flashbacks. Like you're watching the first fucking season of Lost all over again.
Yeah, there's actually 2 really good shows on HBO Max. I've been getting to these kind of like period war pieces. One is Valley of the Tears, which is the Israeli war from 1973, and another one is called it basically takes place in Afghanistan during the war, about a Afghanistan kind of super group of soldiers that go out and take out ISIS. Fucking great film, man. It was actually produced by the Russo brothers. Did it drop on HBO Max or did it drop on Netflix?
I don't know.
But
I don't
you
know.
got to check it out. You got to.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned HBO Max because Variety dropped an article today talking about, this is a couple days ago, talking about everything that's like going on with like the demographic breakdown. And apparently, with no Game of Thrones on HBO, they've dropped like the vast majority of their male demographic ages 18 to 49.
Jesus.
So they're just like,
it's on Netflix and it's called Mosul, whatever the city. That's
I have heard of that one. Yeah.
It's a really good film, man. It's what, because I remember I watched that horrible Ryan Felipe movie 5 minutes ago. This is so cheap. And then I watched this. Man, this movie is gripping from beginning to end. Really done well for Netflix original. Go check out Mosul. I can never say it. And Valley of the Tears. And that's it, man. I'm gonna go. Actually, I am gonna go watch the last season of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
All right. Well, I guess prepare to be disappointed because, like, I don't know. I don't think anyone liked the ending.
Oh, did you already see it?
No, but that's all the reports I saw. I saw people talking about it.
But we were just talking about how we don't listen to what critics say.
No, I know. I will watch it. For me, it's so difficult because I have the kids, and I watch the kids in the daytime, and then I go do delivery driving in the evening, and then I stream at night generally. So I know
that was one of the shows I was really pleasantly surprised. I had no expectations going in. I said, "Wow, this is really they're talking straight up about Satan in here. I'm down. Let's do this."
Well, hashtag Hail Satan.
There you go.
Hail Satan. All right. Well, thanks for coming by, Tim. I really appreciate it. I know there's other people in the background that are probably like, "God damn it."
Sorry, but, man. I have a tendency to talk.
No, we haven't talked before, so it was a good conversation. I appreciate it.
That's right, brother.
All right, we'll have to do it again. I'll have to come to your channel. I'm like, fuck it up.
Most definitely. Anytime, come on there and we'll talk about Wonder Woman 84. I'm pretty sure all the viewers would love it.
Oh, yeah. No, that'd be great. That'd be fun.
Yeah, man.
All right, dude. I'll talk to you later. Have yourself a good one, buddy. All right,
brother. Peace out, man.
Peace out. Thanks for coming on by. All right. Okay. So for one, thank you guys for waiting through there. I appreciate that. Tim's a good guy. Runs a good channel. Lords of the Long Box. Definitely go and check it out. It's a fun stuff. All right. Andrew, I know you've been waiting a while, man. I apologize for that.
It's all right.
It's okay. So you've had a long time to sit there and wait. What is on your mind? I think at this point, everybody wants to know. What are you thinking about?
Ooh, make me the special occasion.
Yeah, I'm gonna totally put you on the spot. So
okay. Yeah. And I've just been just going through like looking at some more stuff, and when I saw you talking about the Batman stuff, in the Assault on Arkham, Batman was Kevin Conroy and Joker was Troy Baker.
Oh, I thought. Okay, I got that wrong. Then my bad. I think that was Kevin Conroy, but glad I haven't seen it in 6 years. So I saw it when it came out, and it has been a long time. So, good. I do love me some Kevin Conroy. So I feel I never saw the second animated Suicide Squad movie, but
I think it's called Hell Today.
Yeah. But I'll tell you this though, man, I really do like the Harley Quinn show.
Oh yeah, me too. And it was weird. When I was watching through it, like near like when the second season came along and they made Joker a normal dude, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense though. Like always kind of throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what clicks, and then also opening it up to a lot of other villains. Giving us a lot more Bane time, and I love Bane. I think Bane is just like he's just a sweet psychotic angel
with the Tom Hardy voice.
Yeah. It's like I love in the first season when he gets Dr. Psycho and Clayface, and he's all like, I need both of you to come with me. Tonight we're going to make the streets run red with razzmatazz. Damn you, Todd. Just going after like Todd this slushy guy. I love it. He's so much like a child, but you can't help but love Bane in that show. He's my favorite character.
I did like that one episode centered around the man after he woke up from his coma.
Is that which one is that one?
I think it was around episode like 4 or 5 of season 2. And he got out of his coma and then took on Bane in a mechanized suit.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I remember that Batman had, and then he still got his ass handed to him.
Yeah, I'm like,
That was pretty good. It's a lot of fun
oh
stuff.
great, this is Dark Knight Rises again.
Well, I mean, yeah, I
Yeah,
think like I like the way that like I would
yeah.
love
I
there
mean,
to be more adult animated shows on there. I think that would be pretty good. The more adult animated, DC humor would be great. So I don't know if we're gonna get
yeah.
it. I don't know if we're gonna get it, but I think because I think Harley Quinn has done well enough and developed as much of a fan base as it has, that I wouldn't be surprised if we got that.
Oh yeah, and Geeks News. Thank God for season 3.
Yeah, I just saw that. Apparently, hold on here. Good looking honky says Peter North here, old adult film star, huge comic fan. Have the first Superman graded 9.6. Never will sell.
Oh, the Christopher Reeve.
I know it would the first Superman comic book. I think is what he's talking
Oh,
about.
okay, yeah.
Like Peter North. If that is in fact Peter, we've met before, but you would not remember. This was at the Deja Vu Midway Strip Club in San Diego in like 0304 somewhere in there. I think like Tabitha Stevens was there too. I knew everyone who worked in the San Diego strip club scene. I was friends with a lot of the managers, so like I never had to pay to get into clubs. I would just go. So if that's Peter North, if that's actual Peter North, I've met him before. So long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So, but all right, man. Listen, I got a couple more people to get through. Do you have anything else you wanna talk about real quick, or?
Well, okay, I'm just thinking of some like most anticipated films of this year. Like, I did a video earlier today with someone talking about my anticipated films, and somebody included like Iron 3, Space Jam 2, No Time to Die, Black Widow, and others.
Nice. I really want to see Space Jam 2. I'm not excited for. I'm gonna watch it.
I wasn't too until I learned what the concept was going to be.
What is the concept? I don't know. I don't know the plot of the movie.
Well, from a leaked thing I found, it said it was supposed to be Ron James and the Looney Tunes go through the Warner Bros. Multiverse and see all the famous iconic scenes from their films, like the Joker, Mask, Pennywise, and Wicked Witch and Agent Smith.
Okay, Wicked Witch though, that's MGM. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you also got like Pennywise and Jim Carrey's The Mask.
That's weird. Well, okay, I would love to see. That's the thing. If we're gonna reboot anything, can we reboot The Mask? I know that was
a dark film.
Yeah, like bring Jim Carrey back. As Stanley Ipkiss. Bring him back as Stanley Ipkiss. Bring back Cameron Diaz. I know Richard Jennings is dead, unfortunately. His best friend in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Richard Jennings. Because there's Richard Jenkins and Richard Jennings. Sometimes I get him confused. But Richard Jennings, I think, passed away a number of years ago. Unfortunately, he was really funny. Really funny comedian. But anyway, I would love to see. Was it Adrian Green was the villain in the movie? I would love to see another Mask. Carrie Fisher's sister, Jolie Fisher, was actually the redhead in the bank where Stanley worked, who was kind of like a bit of a bitch to him. That's Jolie Fisher. That's Carrie Fisher's younger sister.
Huh. I mean, I would like to see it too. I mean, they tried to do a sequel in like 2005 with Alan Cumming, and that did not go good.
No. That was when they is that the Son of the Mask, right?
Yes.
No, that movie's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean that proves you can't do a sequel without Gary.
Yeah. I mean the fact that they tried to get like what was it? Jamie
Kennedy?
Jamie Kennedy, yeah. Because like I mean, there's a movie he did called Malibu's Most Wanted. Did you ever see that one?
No.
That movie it's exceptionally terrible, right? Like exceptionally terrible. But the thing with that movie is that I hate Jamie Kennedy in the movie. I fucking loathe Jamie Kennedy in that movie. He is terrible.
Let me have the baby.
But every other actor in that movie, I think did a great job. So like when we had that movie at my work, I hated it for him, but I loved it for everybody else. And so it's one of those weird movies where there's like some really funny quotes in it. I don't remember which company put it out. I want to say it's Warner's. It seems like a Warner's, but that's one
we could just Loki before Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh jeez. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the Loki show. I want to see what happens with that one.
Yeah.
So okay. So I was reminded in the chat that Cameron Diaz retired. So that's unfortunate. Yeah. But you know what? Anything is possible. Anything is possible, and I'll take it.
If Jim Carrey can still pull off that Grinch smile, he can do the mask again.
Exactly. And honestly, Cameron Diaz not being in the movie would be a bit of a, but because I remember, I remember crushing on her hard in 1994 when that movie came out.
That was her first movie role.
Yeah. Because I knew a girl that looked just like her back in the day, and so she was a friend of mine's younger sister. Looked just like Cameron Diaz from The Mask back in the day, and that was like every guy was like in school after that movie came out was like more or less trying to get with her. So so it's like but anyway. So I'll let you go, man, because I got a couple people to get to still, and but I appreciate you coming on by.
Anytime.
And I'll get you on sooner next time. Sorry, Tim came on and that conversation just took off. But it's all good, man. Thanks a lot, man. Have yourself a great night, man.
Yeah.
See ya. All right. Okay. John.
Hey, Matt. How you doing?
I'm awake.
You're awake. That's good.
Yeah. And I'm alive because tonight it was pouring down rain here, like flooding. And I had to go out and I had to go deliver food because I had to work tonight and need to make money. It was a good night for it. People were paying out left and right.
That's a good gig.
Hell yeah, I'll tell you this is great because with DoorDash, if the order is canceled, you get paid half of the money, right?
Oh, right.
And they had a $5 promotion from 9 to midnight, meaning every order was also included $5. So the money was good. And and so the last order I did, I accepted it and it was like for like $16. I was like, all right, and like it's going a bit further away from where I wanted to go. Because I was like not far from home where the restaurant was, but this is like 10:30 and I'm all like, no, that restaurant's closed. So I just like drove over to the restaurant, saw that it was closed, contacted support, said the restaurant's closed. They go, okay. They called to confirm, restaurant's closed. They canceled the order and they paid me for half.
There you go.
So I'm like, I made $8 and I drove home. I hit my goal and I drove home and I was like, all right, cool. That's how I'm gonna be very happy with the evening is like I made I got hooked up, but it was we're talking like some of the roads were flooded today, and
was it just like 1 inch or a couple inches?
It was a couple inches in some areas, a bit more. We're expected to get hit with about 8 inches in the next couple of days. Like it's just bombarding with that, so it's a good time to stay home. I'm taking tomorrow off. I'll stay home and maybe like watch some movies finally.
Yeah, my driving experience with bad weather, I worked at, I think I told you before, White House Communications Agency, and I lived up in Glen Burnie, Maryland, and I had to drive down to D.C. to catch the, C-135s to fly out to wherever the boss was going. And we had to drive on ice roads. Talk about stress, it was every time he's like, oh, I'm going to die. I'm not going to make it, and, that was a good stressor. And one time I was gone for like a month, right? We went to Singapore for a month. And when we flew back, they had the car accumulated like literally 1.5 inches of solid ice on top of it because of the ice rain.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. It's like, how am I going to get home? You freeze it, because you go from Singapore where it's 80 degrees and you're back in DC where it's like 30, but,
well, like the craziest thing I ever did was, back in 2002 or 2003, I was driving home I was driving back to San Diego from coming up to the Northwest, for New Year's. And I'm driving my friend's car because he had a new car. So we're driving his car, and he's passed out, and I'm trying to make good time because I hate driving in Northern California. I fucking hate driving in Northern California. It's there's nothing to look at. So I'm racing to like get us through there. Well, the problem with it is though, coming down off of the pass between Oregon and California, I'm pretty sure at this point it was a cloud. It was a literal cloud that was like, you know, the fog was so thick I couldn't see 10 feet in front of the car. Right.
Oh, that's just death just waiting. You know,
I was trying to make good time. And my friend was asleep. I had a full pack of cigarettes, and I had Disturbed's Down with the Sickness album playing on repeat for like 9 hours.
Right.
And I did not slow down. I went in the fast lane, and I kicked it to about 90. And I just sat there smoking cigarettes and like listening to Disturbed, you know, like dun 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 dun. You know, I was like 20. You know, I'm like, fuck it, fuck death. You know, I'm not gonna fuck this shit. You know, and then like I just raced through, and like I'm literally passing cars, and there's like this trail of cars, and they're like centipeding themselves, you know, like snaking their way through the fog as to not die. And I'm just going like, haha, 9 lives, bitch. You know, and then I remember the moment where we exited the fog, and it was like a wall. It was like a wall, and we were in Northern California, still north of Sacramento at that point, but there wasn't much out there. And it was just like leaving that wall. It just went from like, couldn't see everything or couldn't see anything to instantaneously being able to see everything, you know, and just this clear thing. And even now it's been almost 20 years and I still am just like, 18 years. I was like, I probably like should have died at that point. But I had movies to watch. So, speaking of that, and because this is a movie show. Talking about, like, so what's on your mind? What do you want to talk about?
I was going to make a comment about Wonder Woman 1984.
Sure, that seems to be a hot topic of conversation.
Well, I've always assumed that the Trevor body replacement was a reincarnation of Trevor from the very beginning. That's what I assumed it was, and they imply it. But they never really said it, you know.
No, they didn't imply it. They were like, it's this other guy. You know, now listen. If that guy would have, let's say, been in like a car accident and like he was in a coma, and then Steve came into his body when he was in a coma, and that might be a bit of a different scenario.
Right.
You know, something that gives you a bit more meat to the substance, something that gives you a bit more understanding to hold on to. They don't explain. I know there's the Quantum Leap argument, and everyone's trying to justify it by saying Quantum Leap was an 80s show. Quantum Leap, huh? You know, and I know that argument's out there. I find the argument to be just a deflection from poor storytelling. And it's all they had to do was just say he was materialized out of nothing. He woke up and he was naked. He just came back and he was nude. You know, they could have said, they could have done that. And you know what we all would have thought? Terminator reference. That's all we would have thought, which is a 1984 movie, right? Or 86.
So.
Or was it 80? Yeah, no, was Terminator before Aliens? Yeah, it was. It was before Aliens. Yeah, Aliens was 86. I think Terminator was 84. Right. Let me take a look at this here. Let me take a look. I just want to make sure if I'm right. Because if I'm right, I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. But let's see. Terminator. Yeah, 1984. Motherfucker. I just solved the goddamn problem by invoking another reference. All they had to do was just go, hey, I materialized and I was naked and I found these clothes and I put them on and there's this fanny pack and I looked you up in the phone book and here we are. And that's it. All they had to do. That's all they had to do. And except what they did was just like put him in the body of another guy. That makes no sense.
Yeah, I could have wrote a better script for a third of the movie just to make it better. You know, that's when the script's bad, when I can make a better script, you know, and it just, you know, I wouldn't do the body. I thought I knew they were going to use magic when he came back, right? Because it looked just like before, you know, Trevor. So I knew they were going to use magic even before I saw the movie, right? And I didn't see any really in the previews, but I knew they're going to use magic. But
I just think like they could have done it such a different way.
Completely. It was like, it's one of those like, I'm a knock on a show. The Andre show on Adult Swim. What's his name?
Eric Andre.
Yeah. the impressive thing about that show, he gets paid. I mean, I don't get his jokes. It's completely not funny for me, but he gets paid. And his show is better than parts of that movie because it doesn't make any sense. And I know we probably agree on that. It's just like, why would you do that? And for the writers to get paid for that, I mean, like, I would ask for the money back. It's just.
Well, the thing is with that though, is that was Patty Jenkins and Jeff Johns, and then I forget the other guy, Dean something, who came in to like kind of handle the script. What I think is like this. I think there's a lot more to that movie that they shot. I think there's a lot more to that movie that they shot, and I think that they made her cut it down, because there was a whole thing in there where she was Warner's. She had said Warner's wanted her to cut either the opening Themyscira scene or the mall sequence. And she was like, she fought them for both. They should have just gotten rid of the mall sequence, right? Or have the mall sequence, but just the robbery of the jewelry store. And then not have her show up and fight those guys, and have them get away or have them get caught or something like that as they run out, whatever, cut around her. They should have just gotten rid of that mall scene, because that mall scene is just everyone. It's like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to make this a Richard Donner movie? What exactly are you trying to do?
Yeah, actually, I didn't I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it's like what did they cut out would be a good question, because the mall scene, you could actually get rid of it and just have you're right, the story.
I was not
the stores thing,
Like the mall scene wasn't like, it was just because it broke its own logic, right? Like, so the mall sequence.
It did that several times.
She's just like, no one. She's like whispering as she's holding the guy upside down, whispers at the little girl. There's like 400 people that are still in the mall, and they're all watching this, and like no one's like, oh, there's a mysterious fighter that's out there, and no one knows who she is. No one out there knows.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. It's like, maybe that was the whole point of people are inherently good, so they're gonna like keep a secret and they're gonna rescind their wish. I'm like, people, you're talking about, this is like the greed is good decade. This is like the capitalism run amok decade. This is a decade where Reagan and Reaganomics came out. Like, this is the decade that fucked everything in many regards, but it gave us some great culture.
The start,
the start of it. We're still feeling the effects of Reaganomics. So you know what? Thank you. But anyway, I'm not to get too political on that front. The whole thing though is, it's the movie itself. Like, as Tim and I said, it didn't really feel like it was set in the 1980s. The mall sequence, I think, should have been cut. And then also like better explanation of the rules of the wish stone.
Yeah, because the ending in the movie, I always assumed that everything got reset before the first wish. That's what I assumed.
That's what they kind of make it out to be, but not so much the first wish, but it's like before his wish. And so Diana rescinds her wish, which says goodbye to Steve Trevor and allows her to get her powers back. Barbara doesn't rescind her wish, but her cheetah abilities are taken away. So she still has the wish where she wishes to be like Diana. So if Diana is immortal and Cheetah is now more or less an immortal with all these powers, which I still think is dumb, by the way. To say, I want to be like her, and it's all like, oh, so you want to be not kind and compassionate and strong and confident. You want to have all these abilities that there's no explanation for why you have them. But anyway, I mean, just going back to the general logic of it, she's probably going to be ageless at that point then, because isn't Diana like 3,000 years old? So
she was technically created from Zeus, so never born. But that's the Amazonian legend. But the cheetah, I mean, she did get 2 wishes, but wouldn't both of them have to be? See, that renounce thing was like, that was just like my eyes were rolling back in my skull when that happened. It's like, that's not even believable. It just, just like the brain shut off. Really? We have to do this, which is an impossibility? No, everyone's dead if it really happened, But it's just, the good question is, what did they cut out? would they cut out? And would it make a better story? And that's a good question.
I mean, we'll have to wait to find out what they have on the deleted. You know, if Patty Jenkins ever talks about what's deleted, because eventually they are going to talk about what's been deleted, what's been cut out, and you know, once enough time passes. But I also think that Warner's just wants this movie to go away. I do. I think they do. I think they're happy with its success. It hit 100 million overseas, right?
Oh, okay.
Or like worldwide, it's cracked 100 million.
Yeah, let's just replace it with something else real quick.
Yeah, but no, I think it's like they wanted it, like they are happy with its success, but they also knew what they had. You know, and I say this because like they released it. So they knew what they had. You know, they knew it, and then Toby Emmerich fast-tracked Wonder Woman 3 in order to, and again, my opinion, kind of like when right before the release of Solo, when that report came out that James Mangold was going to direct Boba Fett movie, right? Like the 24th of May, 2018, that article broke, and that never happened. That never materialized. But the idea there is to show confidence in the brand. The idea there is to show confidence. So, we're fast tracking Wonder Woman 3. Patty Jenkins is going to write and direct it. She just did this one. Apparently, you know, it's meant to show confidence. Like, okay. So clearly Warner's is seeing something that we, the audience, are not seeing. And that would be maybe a good movie. I don't know. And that's kind of what it boils down to. In this case, I think it's going to be just kind of, I don't know. I'm not really excited for Wonder Woman 3. If it is world's finest, which is what Tim had said before, where we're going to get Superman and Batman involved, I'm down with that. I'm 100% down with that. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. I got one more guy to get to. I'm starting to yawn. I got to get to bed here pretty soon.
Oh, yeah. No problem. Yeah, you're up late.
Yeah, I'm always up late. But yes, it's the weekend. I still get tired. But all right, man. Well, thank you very much for calling in, and we'll do it again.
All right, yeah, have a good one.
All right, you too, man. Thank you very much. Okay, and the last call of the night would be, of course, Ryan. I know you've been waiting a while. Thank you very much.
Hey, Matt. How's it going?
Oh, you know, just I'm still around.
Mm-hmm.
Much to some people's displeasure, but I'm still around.
Hey.
Yeah. So what's crack-a-lack and what's on your mind?
Well, I guess I've been meaning to ask. I'm not sure if you've answered this or not, but what movies and TV shows are you looking forward to this year?
Let's see. I would love to see The Witcher, but I don't think we're going to get it till next year.
Okay.
Maybe this winter. They're still shooting it, but they kind of, it's been slow. Bond. I really want to see Bond really bad.
Okay.
I mean, all the major ones, Black Widow, Matrix 4, Dune, all those. But I think for TV shows, like obviously Book of Boba Fett's probably like my most anticipated for right now. But as soon as they give me a trailer for Stranger Things season 4 and they give me a release date, I'm gonna start getting hype because I really love that show quite a bit. And then it's so weird. It's like I feel like I don't watch as much as I should.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And it's not like there's like not an abundance of shit to watch, but it's like I think because I do this content creation thing that I have to, like, when I watch something, I have to also like gauge its value to me in the long run. Like, do I spend my time watching this movie so I can review it in hopes that I make a couple dollars, or do I watch it and review it because whatever? It's such a weird thing. And I know that's like, that sounds like first world problem shit right there. But I mean, this is a business, right? So I have to like, look at the people that sell you drama, that sell you anger-based information, right? The people that like Doomcock and Midnight's Edge and all those guys that just they just manufacture shit, constantly manufacture, constantly make up stuff, and they know they do it. They absolutely know that they do it like this, and they don't care. They just don't care. Everything is in editorial. Everything is vastly skewed to one side, and they do it because they know that if they can play on your emotional heartstrings, that they can then profit by keeping you ignorant and ill-informed and ill-educated. They can do this. And as a person who loves talking about movies, that shit fucking drains me because it's like, for one, I can't compete with that. That's just the reality of it. I can't compete with that. Now, some people might say this is an open, free market, capitalistic market, make a better product. And it's not even that. We're not dealing with the standards of capitalism. What we're dealing with is emotional based manipulation. That's vastly different. I could come out and be just like, let me tell you guys about what's legitimately in the trades while giving everyone a massive hand job. Everyone gets their dick jerked. Totally different. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter because all they have to do is just go, like Kathleen Kennedy, bad, Last Jedi, bad, Doctor Who, bad, culture war this, culture war that. And then their audience is so trained and so primed for anger that is the dopamine hit that they seek. Yeah. So to give you an example, like take a look at Geeks and Gamers channel, right? So when it's Jeremy being Jeremy, which is at this point as bad as a televangelist, in my opinion. But when it's Jeremy being Jeremy, he can rack up some serious views because he has that relationship with his audience. When he's not on there and it's part of it, like the Geeks and Gamers, I don't know, Z squad, not even their B stuff, but like their hell, even after anything from B to Z, all of that is like, they don't get anywhere near as many views. Right. And that's just because people, they are trained to go to Jeremy. They want Jeremy. Jeremy is able to, and I give him credit for this as much as I think I possibly can, but like he's able to tap in to that primal mindset. And this is very much a conservative like thing. Like liberals and progressives, man, they can't fucking do that at all. We're terrible at branding. No, we are. We're terrible at messaging. Yeah. We're just terrible at it. And it's just because we play from the left brain, right brain. So we're left brain. We're very logical. We approach things from a very like, information-based mindset. Whereas the right brain is just like, it's very primal. It's very emotion-based. And that ends up being a lot easier to tap into than it does the other. And it's just like, so the thing is like, I know I'm pointing them out specifically. It's not just them. It's really not. It's the ecosystem of YouTube as a whole. And that really is what it boils down to. It's just, that's the ecosystem. And that's what it reflects. Like I did I criticized Wonder Woman 84 because it frustrated me. And that video did 15,000 views. Right. And I made some money on it. And so so the smart thing to do would be to find everything negative I could find about Wonder Woman 84, every single thing that was terrible about that movie, every comment from Patty Jenkins, everything, and make a video hammering it home time and time again. Just put out 40 anti-Wonder Woman videos before the end of the year. And I would have made a lot of fucking money. I would have made thousands and thousands of dollars if I would have done that.
Right.
But that's not me. I can't do that. Like I've gotten into conversations about this with my therapist and I've told her like, I know what to do. Like I know what to do. It wouldn't be hard to ultimately manipulate everybody by lying to them, through this whole thing. But I can't do it. I physically like cannot do it. I'm that guy that's like, like the guy that's like, you hear someone and they say something wrong, right? And I get factoids wrong all the time and people always call me out, which is great. But like, if like I've been at the party and like someone made a comment and I'm just like, no, that's not accurate, and then I'm like, do I correct them? And my first instinct is to correct them because they're wrong and I'd rather them be informed. And then I've had my friends stop me. We were like at Comic-Con once and like someone said something wrong about Batman. Like I think it was like about like the Dark Knight or whatever. And I kind of poked my head up because we're having lunch and he just looked at me and he was like, Matt, no. Like he knew me, he knows me well enough to know. And he's like, Matt, no, go back to eating. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. He's like, no, but I know what you're thinking. I heard it too. Let him be wrong. And I'm like, and I'm like, I got to fight that urge. And so it's like, but I'm that kind of person where it's like, I would be the worst used car salesman on the planet because I couldn't sell you on a car. I couldn't sell you a car that I didn't think you wanted. Right. But if I liked the car and if I felt there could be a connection made based upon mutual passion, I could sell you the car. The problem though is that so much of what people get right now is this false dopamine hit. They get false hits off of this shit. So they want to feel something. They want to feel anything. And so they go to these channels that vehemently, publicly, frequently, repeatedly lie to them. Like, I mean, just make shit up. They literally just make shit up. And they go like, yeah, that's right. That sounds pretty fucking accurate. And then someone like, I'll make a video and I'll criticize that. And they'll come back to me and they'll be like, they'll find one little nugget that maybe they got right. One little nugget. Well, this is why they're right. Nah, but you're overlooking literally everything else. And it just becomes, I get to a point and I just go, what the fuck's the point? Why the fuck should I even do this? Why should I even care? It's like if people aren't going to sit there and take like, you know, because what it is when you have to deal with the audience of ill-informed people, that's what wears me down. That's what wears me down. And that's really what it is. It's like, that's what I fucking hate. Because it makes it difficult. It makes it difficult to start to enjoy this shit, you know, and like, it just makes it difficult. And then I just don't want to do it. So, you know, I kind of burn myself out every once in a while on it, which is why I might disappear for a bit and go play video games for a few weeks.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry. I don't mean to rant. I'm just saying it's like, there's a lot of shit that just, you know, like fucking sucks about this stuff, right? Especially with COVID, because there's almost no real information.
Right.
It's like every day I get sent links from like, we got this covered, and people are like, that's real news. I'm like, that's not real news. You know, or like these, and I'm friends with scoopers and like, but other scoopers and like even their scoops. And it's like, I don't cover the scoops much anymore because like, it's all like, I can't source it. So to me, it's not factual, you know, like it's fun to talk about in some ways, like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. But then it's like, I can't sell this to you as being informational based because it's not. It's like reading tea leaves, you know, like it's like reading tea leaves. So I don't know if it's real. They don't know if it's real. Anything could fucking happen. So it just ends up being this, like, it ends up driving me up the wall because I can't process it through my brain because like I'm trying to find that logical nugget to hold on to extrapolate upon, like, you know, data. And it just, it burns me the fuck out. It just, it really burns me the fuck out.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, you pretty much just hit the nail on the head. You know, just all this Pavlovian response to negativity, which it does sell, and sometimes depending on what's trending, you have to ride the wave in order to maybe not only get a profit but also get decent enough views.
Yeah,
and I think with I guess if I had to choose between lying to people just to get attention or inform people and maybe not get as much attention, I would pick the latter.
Yeah, I picked the latter. I always pick the latter.
Yeah, for the sense of maybe some sort of journalistic integrity, so to speak. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one of those things where it's like, I think in the last couple of years, because my integrity's been called into question a couple times, especially after 2 years ago, I think I'm now more determined and stubborn, right? In many cases. And like, the thing is, like, I would go on and like fight a lot of these people. I just wouldn't be nice, like, at all. I have nothing to gain by being nice. I would just be very vicious. And I don't want to do that, for one, because I don't like going there. And two, like, you know, it's not necessarily worth it, which is why it's like, I just like having these friendly chats about what's going on and like, you know, doing that sort of thing. But it's always kind of like, you know, I don't watch everything. So it's hard to like, because, you know, a lot of the conversation on most of these streams is always superhero related stuff. You know, we don't talk about indie films anymore. You know, we don't talk about, oh, did you see this movie or did you see this? It's like, did you see Wonder Woman? Well, how does it compare to Superman or Man of Steel or Batman? How does it compare? What about Marvel? Oh, Star Wars. Oh, Star Trek. Oh, there's this. It's like the same tentpole properties. And the thing is, I love these properties. Like, I legitimately cried at Mandalorian. Like, I love that show. So it's like, I love this stuff, but it's like, you know, when Tim mentioning some other movies I haven't heard of, I'm like, oh, that's actually some cool shit. I should go and check those out because that's something that's different. The problem though is that a lot of the movie-based YouTube is just it is about superhero stuff because that's what gets the most ink.
Mm-hmm.
That's what gets the most traction.
Yeah, and oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
And I think it also boils down to being a trend follower and a trend setter, and I guess setting the groundwork for what you want to talk about depending on how big you are.
Yeah. I mean, like I've consistently like toyed with things. Like I don't know if you saw the video I did on the story of the Mandalorian. Did you watch that one?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, that's okay. Like no one did. But like it's a 20 some minute odd video. And I think it's like 25 minutes. Right. And so the thing was like I it's scripted. It's actually scripted and edited. Yeah, it's 25 and a half minutes long, and so that was fun to do. It took me about 6.5 hours to do the whole thing, from writing it to recording it to editing it to releasing it. About 6.5 hours. Good times. But that's a lot of investment for something that I've made like $2 on, and that becomes a problem with a lot of us who do creation. It's like streams are a lot more low effort, and I could sit here and potentially get super chats. I could get like a $2 super chat, and that would in like an hour and a half. And that's still a better per hour ratio for earnings than what I would have gotten on that video. But I want to spend more time like diving into these films and doing more of that kind of content, because at least then I'm like writing something, I'm researching. So it's very data driven. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, I have my camera set up and I've got like my teleprompter. I have a little like smartphone teleprompter for my DSLR. I just bought a new little like, Bluetooth remote for it. So I can write all this stuff, and then I can sit down and I can just go and record it, and then I can just, have it all scripted and have it sound good, and then go from there. And I can just build off of that. And that to me is like kind of what I want to do this year, because I feel like long form content is probably going to do like better than just like short form. This article says this sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where I'm at. And maybe that's just because I'm trying to like grow as a creator, because I've been doing this for a long time. I've been what is it, 2021, so we're talking 9 years. This is, I mean, like really about 9 years next month. So like I've been at that, so I'm I'm an old school dinosaur, man. I'm just so I'm just exhausted, and I've recently I paid for a couple like like beginner courses. These guys I know like sell like these YouTube courses, and like, but they're up to date on what's new, what's changing. So it's like, all right, well, they had some holiday sales going on, so I dropped some money on that to go and check those out, to kind of do a refresher course. And that's kind of where I'm at. I just like to learn, I like to grow, and I'm hoping to find ways to do that with this channel. That's not just like fighting with like Star Wars Theory, or fighting with Geeks and Gamers, or fighting with people like Andy Signor and Doomcock and shit. Mm-hmm. Right? Because like I just don't. I can fight them. Part of me wants to fight them because I think that they're all disingenuous and they all lie to you. But it's also like being a one-man army up against that shit. There's no fucking winning on that shit. Mm-hmm. So it just ends up kind of like being like a what the fuck, like who cares sort of thing. And anyway, I'm not trying to turn this into a fucking therapy session. I do apologize, everybody. We've been at it for like almost 2 hours. So,
yeah. Oh, and I've also wanted to comment on this was when Andrew was on the stream. He was talking about Jim Carrey's The Mask.
Yeah.
You see, I guess if they ever reboot The Mask, I think they should try to maybe have it be closer to the comics.
I think I've never read the comics, but like I know they were darker.
Yeah, they're darker, they're bloodier, like almost Deadpool level craziness. Just I think that there's some untapped potential there, in my opinion. Well,
I'm at the point now where I'm thinking like, for a lot of these graphic novel adaptations, just do them animated.
Yeah, totally.
So just do them animated and leave it at that. Mm-hmm. Like there's no point. And I know people like live action. I get it. I do too. You know, like, I mean, Kick-Ass, the first one, was an amazing adaptation.
Mhm.
And Matthew Vaughn did a fantastic job. Same with Kingsman. But and those kind of movies can work in live action, but it's also, there's nothing wrong with like releasing, it's, you know, like with DC animated films, like their animation companies, they'll jump quality quite often. You know, sometimes they're really well put together. Other times you're like, I think you're missing a few frames per second on this one. You know, like what was that one I was looking at? Apocalypse War, Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Took me a few minutes to get used to the animation because it clearly was not full 24 frames. You know, it was a little different. It took me a little bit of time to get used to that kind of stuff. But it's at the same time, but by the end of the movie, the story and the voice acting and everything else was very compelling. So I was very happy with what I was watching. And so I'm like, you know, but this is the kind of stuff that put a little bit more effort into it and put this shit in theaters. And now is the time because people are going to be looking for content to go to see in theaters when we finally get back to it. And if everything has been pushed, I mean, you can do animation. Like, you know, a lot of these companies, Sony, I think specifically, is working on a lot more adult animated content because they realize there's a massive audience for it. I mean, if you look at like HBO Max, a lot of their animated content is geared towards an older crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, they've got Sesame Street because they own the rights to it now, but like they just put out a bunch of Cartoon Network Adult Swim stuff, like C-Lab 2021. But they also have Courage the Cowardly Dog, and that's a kid show, but that's very much kind of aimed for adults or like the older kid audience and stuff. You know, so they and like, you know, the Boondocks and I mean, when the fuck are they going to put Metalocalypse on there? Like, that's what I want to know. I love Metalocalypse. You know, they got Robot Chicken on there. They got a whole bunch of South Park is on HBO Max. So they got a whole bunch of stuff that they do. And that's more adult oriented. And that's where they're going to find people. Whereas Netflix does kind of a multitude of everything. Disney Plus is clearly aimed at the younger crowd, but they're going to try dabbling a bit in the older stuff. But but we're seeing because of the quarantine that they're able to, like, you know, the animated stuff, crank it out a lot faster. And aiming it towards adults, I think, because adults are going to be home, is going to be a good thing. I for one am very anxious to see what comes out of adult animation, because it doesn't have to be like just dick and fart jokes, which I love, by the way. But you know, you can get some really good, solid, like that show Primal on Adult Swim. I've heard nothing. I've looked at it. I haven't watched it, but like, you know, it's very adult. It's but it's a serious story, but it's compelling with minimal dialogue, and people really like it. So it's like, this is what, you know, this is something they can do, and I want to see what they build off of that stuff. And maybe that stuff's worth reviewing and talking about. I don't even know anymore. Like, I have no freaking idea.
But if you're ever reviewing Primal, I will definitely see it. So
I need to sit down and it's on HBO Max now, I think, right?
Yeah.
Right. I might, you know what? I might, it's 1:30. I might just like lay down in bed and watch an episode or two before I pass out. Usually after I do streams, I just lay down in bed and I put on my headphones and I listen to like, what was it? Like Chilled Cow on YouTube. It's like just lo-fi chill music and just kind of like unwind and stuff. It's nice. It's a nice, maybe I'll watch a bloody dinosaur thing. That could be cool too.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that one. But all right, man, I'm going to let you go because I'm going to wrap this thing up.
Okay.
But I appreciate you coming on and waiting all that time and stuff like that. And we'll talk again soon. All right, man?
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks very much. See you later, Ryan. All right. Let me take a quick look here at the chat. All right. Geek Studio says Cameron Diaz is my crush. Yeah. Rel here says, whoa, man. Malibu's Most Wanted is hilarious. Every other character was funny. Not Jamie Kennedy. Let's see here. Mad says, what do you think about Warner Brothers doing two different Batman franchises with Ben Affleck being recast? I think it's stupid. Just stick with the if you're not going to bring back Affleck, stick with the Batman and give us one, but do it well and do it frequently. That's what people want. So there's that. All right. Let's see here. Runs with Phantom says, what the heck? Why would you fight Theory? I wasn't fighting with Theory. I just criticized him because I felt he was milking it for drama. That's all it was. Thanks for coming on, Eddie. I appreciate it. Geek says, MODOK, I was excited that Hulu coming this year. Showing a clip today. I don't know what that is. Okay. Shogun says here, what about my buddy what about my friend Mad Max? I like Max. I think we handle things a little bit differently, but I like Max quite a bit. I respect him a lot. So I'm kind of curious. I'm not sure if I should click on this or not, but we got someone just came in the back room. I'm just, my curiosity is getting me. All right. Dream, are you there?
Oh, Dream!
Okay. Is that all you got?
I'm Dream. Me, Green Dream.
How old are you? Like 12?
Chris, I'm your biggest fan.
What?
I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So like, what do you, it's like super late. What are you doing?
Playing Minecraft.
Okay. So are you under 13?
I'm 47.
That's cool. You sound like you're 47, middle-aged, balding, pudgy man without a job.
That's true.
Okay. So Minecraft, huh? Sound you doing that? I don't even play Minecraft, so I have no idea.
You want to talk to my mom?
Do I want to talk to your mom?
Yeah.
Sure.
Why?
You offered?
Why?
You offered.
But why'd you say yes?
Because I'm curious. I want to know why you're up in the middle of the, are you eating cereal right now?
I'm eating a salad.
I highly doubt that's salad.
It is.
1:30 in the morning, at least on my time zone.
It's 4:36 in the morning for me.
Okay, so you're on the East Coast. Okay. So what do we got? We have a anyway. All right, man. Well, you go back to that, and we'll I don't know, whatever it is you're gonna do. Minecraft.
You know where Mario Judah is?
I'm sorry. What?
You know where Mario Judah is?
No.
I am a big dog, big bear.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is weird. But I mean, I guess it could be weirder.
I agree.
You're not the weirdest caller I've ever had. Trust me.
Johnny Sins could be on the screen.
Johnny Sins could be on the stream.
Yeah.
Are you? Wait. I don't. I know that name.
Why?
What do you mean? I guess my question is, what? How do you know that name?
That may be your mother's doctor.
It's not my mother's doctor.
That's my mom's doctor. He's the man, the myth, the legend. He can do it all.
Oh wow. You should really not know who he is. That is very, very accurate.
That's cool.
So all right. Well, I guess I'll see ya. Have a good one. All right, I have no idea, but there's another one in here too. I want to see this one. Okay, so who are you, Shower? It's probably the same kids. They left. All right. Okay. There we go. The fact that kid mentioned Johnny Sins. That's crazy. That's crazy. What the hell? What in the hell? Okay. All right. Well, on that note, that was peculiar as all hell. This is what happens when you have an open call-in line. You get some weird stuff. But all right, guys, I'm going to go pass out. It's 1:40 in the morning. I'll talk to you guys all later on. Eddie, why are you always being targeted? I don't know, dude. It's because I have a fat ass that puts a big target on it, I guess. And we'll talk again soon. Everyone, have yourself a great evening. Thank you again for watching. And definitely remember to peace the hell out.